Okay, sige. So let's start. Good afternoon again, everyone. This is Ben Francia, and for this afternoon, we'll be talking about building resilient soil, a permaculture approach to sustainable soil management. And thank you again for being here with me for this afternoon. So buti na lang, hindi umuulan at hindi pa naaarating ang bagyo at medyo maayos pa ang ating internet connection. Okay, so allow me to share this quote. The best way to care for the future is by caring for our soil today. So, ako natatandaan ko when I started farming about 4 years ago. Akala ko farming was all about growing plants, you're growing crops, taking care of animals. Then later I realized na farming pala is not just all about growing plants. It's primarily about taking care of the soil. Kaya nga agriculture eh. So agriculture is composed of two words, agri and culture. Agri means land, or more precisely landscape or field. Okay, so basically land, and culture means to take care of. So agriculture, farming is primarily all about taking care of the land, taking care of the soil. Okay, so this is what I learned, and in the past 4 years of farming, my focus really was more than just growing crops. It's taking care of the soil, making sure that the soil is healthy, because if the soil is healthy, we're able to produce healthy crops, healthy animals, healthy food, which converts to healthy people who are eating this food. So in the next few minutes, in the next hour, this is what we will be learning: how to take care of the soil, how to keep our soil healthy and resilient the more sustainable way, para we can grow food not just for our current generation but for the future generation also. Okay, so a little background about Habilin Farms. Habilin Farms is a permaculture site based in located in Tayabas, Quezon. And as a permaculture site, we make sure that we take care of the land, we regenerate the soil. Practice kasi of permaculture, one of the ethics is earth care. And when you say earth, automatic, di ba? It's associated kagad sa lupa, di ba? So we're soil farmers here in Habilin Farms. And here in Habilin Farms, we practice different sustainable soil management strategies that is based on permaculture. So again, my name is Ben Francia. I'm a certified permaculture professional. Earned my certification through the American Institute of Permaculture, Permaculture Institute of North America, PINA, through Oregon State University. I'm also a certified permaculture teacher under Permaculture Education Institute. I also teach organic agriculture as a trainer under TESDA. And lastly, I also am part of the board of trustees of the Philippine Permaculture Institute. All right, so a little background about permaculture, just to kumbaga, yung mga hindi naka-attend nung webinar last week about permaculture. Permaculture is a way of designing productive, sustainable farms, gardens, and even whole communities with that work with nature. So parang kasi ang farming kadalasan, it works against nature kasi like you do too much tilling, we apply too much chemicals and insecticides and pesticides and fertilizers into the land. In turn, parang namamatay yung nabubuhay ng mga microorganisms, mga insekto, okay, in the landscape, di ba? It affects also our health because of the food that we eat kasi contaminated. Okay? And permaculture is not just focused on production. We make sure that as we produce food, the practices that we do contributes to the regeneration of the landscape, making sure that natural resources are not depleted, and making sure na yung future generation are not, kumbaga, yung capacity nila to meet their own needs hindi na compromise. Yan. So, again, if you missed that webinar last week, I'll be sharing that, let me check lang. So, I'll share that link. So, you should see that link of that webinar replay kasi we've recorded that webinar. So, in your free times, hindi naman kasi siya live. So, on demand, you can watch that recording. Yan. So, you should see that, that link at the right panel of your webinar window. So, you just click on that green button to get access to that webinar. All right. So, first strategy that we use is composting. So, the next few slides, I'll be talking about 10 different sustainable soil management strategies using permaculture. So, these are 10 strategies that we use here in the farm. So, first, pinaka-popular would be composting. So, what exactly is composting? So, lahat ng mga biodegradable materials. So, lahat ng mga grass clippings, mga tuyong dahon na nalaglag, even branches. Dito sa Quezon, maraming mga bunot ng niyog, mga palapa ng niyog. So, lahat na nabubulok. Even, even livestock manure. So, yung ipot ng kalabaw, ng kabayo, ng manok. Okay. Pwedeng isama on a single pile to let it decompose. Okay. If you're not living in a place such ours dito sa farm, pwedeng, let's say, maski sa urban setting, pwedeng, let's say, yung mga kitchen waste nyo, pwedeng yung i-compost yan, no? So, over time, na-ferment yan, nabibuild up yung heat, na-decompose siya. So, after probably 6 months or more, fully decomposed na siya, parang lupa na yan. And this material, this compost is very rich in organic matter, very rich in nutrients that can be returned to the soil. Okay, so magiging richer ang soil mo if you add compost to it. So that's the first strategy that we do. Second is mulching. So, ano ba yung mulching? Mulching is covering bare soil. So, ganun lang kadali. Ayun lang simpleng explanation doon, no? Mulching is really covering bare soil. Kasi, the soil, the earth, doesn't want to be exposed eh. Ayan ang nature ng lupa. Ayaw ng lupa na exposed. So, alam niyo yung mga nakikita nating fields na bagong araro, tinatanggal lahat ng damo, okay? Brown na brown, sa totoo lang po, ayaw ng lupa nun. Okay? Kasi ang lupa natin, living thing yan eh. Sobrang daming microorganisms that live there. And if you expose the soil, you expose it to the elements. Nare-release ang moisture, nare-release ang carbon dioxide sa air, okay, natutuyo ang lupa, namamatay yung microorganisms in the soil. Okay. Nature has its own way of protecting itself by covering itself with weeds. Pansinin nyo, kapag ang isang, let's say, lupa, maski sa backyard mo, tanggalan mo ng damo. Okay? Anong gagawin ni nature? Tatakpan niya uli yan. Magpapatubo siya uli ng damo maski hindi mo tamnan. It's nature's way of protecting itself. Okay? That's why covering the ground covering the soil is really very important. Okay? Kasi that keeps them healthy. So, in our case, whenever we see something that's exposed, kasi syempre, for example, hindi mo maiwasan na magkakaroon ng ng exposed soil even for a permaculture site like ours. So let's say nung nakaraan nagtanim ka namin ng kalamansi, naghukay ng butas, doon nilagay yung seedling, tapos tinakpan. Yung soil around the seedling is exposed soil. So hindi naman pwedeng magtanim ka ng damo doon. Eventually tutubo 'yon. So habang wala pa siyang damo around the seedling, we cover it up with biodegradable material. So marami kami mga tuyong dahon, mga tuyong grass clippings. So we put it around the seedling to cover the bare soil. Okay? So with that, if you cover the bare soil, that's the exposed part of the soil, you minimize water transpiration or water evaporation. Okay? Kaya kapag dinidiligan mo siya, yung ilalim ng mulch mo palaging basa. Okay, na maintain yung tubig. Tapos hindi rin namamatay yung microorganisms mo doon. If you walk around, let's say in a field, in a farm, or even in your backyard, lalo na kung meron kayong mga puno doon, pansinin niyo kapag merong mga isang tumpok na tuyong dahon, if you look underneath it, nandoon yung lupa na pinaka-dark. Palaging basa. Okay? So, we're emulating that kind of natural occurrence through mulching. Okay? Marami pang ibang benefits ng mulching. I won't be talking about it probably in the next webinar. But for now, we use mulching as our way of protecting and keeping the soil healthy. Strategy number 3, cover cropping and green manures. So this is a different way of mulching the ground with living crops. So we call it cover crops. So cover crops kasi yung nagko-cover is a type of crop na pwede mapakinabangan. So we've tried different cover crops. Kami nga ginamit namin one time yung talbos ng kamote sa pinang cover cropping namin around the tree seedlings ng lansones. Pero one cover crop that I would want to share is itong mani-mani, the picture that you see in front of you, or peanut grass, kasi it belongs to the family of peanuts, pero ornamental siya mostly kasi ginagamit to ng mga landscaper sa mga landscape projects nila, because it's really green, parang carpet siya, tapos maganda yung bulaklak niya, okay, kulay yellow. So this is a good cover crop kasi number 1, it's nitrogen fixing, being a crop that belongs to the peanut family, meaning it draws nitrogen from the air and stores it into the ground. And as we all know, nitrogen is very important in keeping the soil healthy and keeping our crops healthy. It's a crop kasi it's a crop that our livestock can benefit from kasi paborito po ito kainin ng mga alaga naming hayop. Itong dahon kinakain ng baboy, kinakain ng manok, kinakain ng bibe, kinakain ng kabayo, paborito po ito ng kabayo. Even the flowers, kapag namumulaklak na siya, paborito po yan ng mga free range namin na chickens. It's also considered as a green manure. Ano ba ang green manure? Kasi ang manure po kasi yung ipot ng livestock, ang nutrient na kinukuha natin dyan as yung fertilizer nutrient is nitrogen. Rich in nitrogen ang livestock manure. Pero when you say green manure, these are plants, these are crops that are also rich in nitrogen. Kaya green manure siya. Okay? So isang type ng green manure is this mani-mani. kasi nga high nitrogen siya. So we use this as part of the compost. If you add it sa compost mo, mas nadadagdag yung nitrogen content ng compost mo, ng organic fertilizer. We also make concoctions. So one type of concoction that we use is fermented plant juice. So itong leaves ng mani-mani, chop namin siya, tapos fine-ferment namin together with molasses to produce organic concoctions that are really good for the soil kasi ni-apply namin back to the soil. So this is another strategy that we use for maintaining good and healthy soil. Parang nag-skip ako. 3, tapos naging 5, no? Parang may na-miss out yata ako. Sorry. Okay. Ang tawag dito, blooper. Okay. Skip ako sa strategy number 5. Nawala yung number 4. Hindi ko alam bakit. Anyways. So, baka may tinanggal ako tapos nagkamali ako ng numbering, no? So, proceed tayo. Strategy number 5. Vermiculture. So, vermiculture sometimes is called worm composting. Kasi, kaya worm composting kasi we make use of worms to further decompose organic materials. Okay, so anong ginagawa ng bulate? Lahat ng mga biodegradable materials, kinakain nila. Okay? After nila kinain, anong mangyayari? Pagtapos mo kumain, syempre, it needs to go out somewhere, right? Yung excrements or yung poop ng bulate, ang tawag doon, vermicast. So, if you're very observant, if you go out in the field, sometimes makikita ka doon sa lupa na parang mayroong mga bilog-bilog na lupa. Diba? Yun, castings or poop ng bulate. So, this is one strategy that we use kasi yung dami namin livestock, yung livestock manure, pinapakain din namin dito sa worms. I remember sa bahay ng parents ko, my dad then had this small parang 1 by 1 meter lang na worm bed. Lahat ng kitchen waste doon nilalagay lahat. Right? Tapos kinakain yun ng bulate. Tapos eventually nagiging parang dark na lupa na siya. The vermicast is very rich in nutrients and in microorganisms, beneficial microorganisms. If you return back that to the soil, sobrang magiging healthy ang lupa natin. Okay. So, this is highly recommended if you intend to plant organic vegetables. Okay. So, vermiculture. Yun, nagkapalit pala. Ito na si strategy number 4. Sana hindi umulit si number 5, no? Kapalit na sequence. Okay. Next strategy is permaculture and companion planting. Okay, so this is a permaculture approach kasi it's our way of mimicking the natural ecosystem. So nasaan ba yung pinaka-healthy na lupa? Ang pinaka-healthy na lupa, pumunta po tayo sa kagubatan, nandoon ang pinaka-healthy na lupa. Kasi doon walang nagbubungkal ng lupa, walang nagpe-fertilizer. Okay? Sobrang taas ng organic matter ng lupa. Pero one thing that you can observe in the forest is the diversity of plants that's growing there. Kasi yung diversity ng plants na yun, in fact, helps out the soil also, okay? Kasi each plant, yung roots ng plants contribute to the health of the microorganisms in the soil. So let me explain a little science about it, no? Plants need nutrients from the soil, right? For it to grow, okay? Pero yung mga nutrients na yun, hindi readily available, hindi readily absorbable by the roots of the plants. So what happens, meron kang mga microorganisms sa soil. Yung mga microorganisms na yun, ang kumakain ng mga, macronutrients, bigger chunks of nutrients. They process it further, and yung nire-release nila, ayun ang kinakain or inaabsorb ng roots. Ayun yung science behind root absorption, no? So ibig sabihin, crucial ang health ng microorganisms sa soil to keep our plants healthy. Okay, so how do we keep the microorganisms healthy? Yung yes, they feed on the nutrients from the soil, pero in addition to that, yung roots natin merong symbiotic relationship with these microbes. Meron silang nire-release na nutrients also, mostly sugars. Root exudates. So mas technical scientific term are root exudates. So root exudates are sugars that are being released by the roots of the plants. Each type of plant has a different nutrient profile that it releases into the soil. So ibig sabihin, the more diverse the plant, yung plant diversity mo in your, let's say, land, mas iba-iba yung nutrients na nare-receive ng mga microbes mo sa lupa. Mas healthy sila. So my analogy nga would be something similar to like human beings. Imagine mo, what if let's say yung kinakain mo puro kamote, day in, day out. Walang kinakain, puro kamote lang, puro kamote. Okay? Mabubusog ka. Pero ang question, healthy ka ba? In fact, pwede ka pa nga makategorize as malnourished. Okay? Hindi porket busog ka palagi, hindi ka nagugutom, hindi ka malnourished. Malnourished ka kasi you don't get enough nutrients that you need to survive, to live. Okay? So, ganun din ang microbe sa lupa. Kung puro isang klaseng plant lang ang nakatanim sa lupa, ibig sabihin they only receive one type or one kind of nutrient. If you have, on the other hand, if you have different plants, different types of nutrients na nare-receive niya, kumbaga mas healthy siya kasi mas healthy meal kumbaga nare-receive ng mga microbes natin sa lupa. All right, so that's another strategy that we do, polyculture and companion planting. Ayan, so strategy number 6. So tama naman pala yung numbering ko, no? Nagkamali lang yung sequence. So we're back on track with the sequence. Strategy number 6, using biochar. Okay? So ano biochar? Basically uling, no? Uling lang talaga. I remember yung lola ko dati, naglalagay siya ng uling doon sa mga alaga niyang halaman. Hindi ko alam bakit. Okay? So, ito pala ang explanation yan. So, biochar, basically, inuling na material, tapos nire-return mo sa soil, binabalik mo sa soil as an amendment. Why is biochar important? How does it keep our soil healthy? So, number 1, it increases the porosity of the soil. Mas nagiging siya, mas gumaganda yung texture ng lupa, especially if you're on a, let's say, clayish ang lupa mo. So it adds texture. Second, it neutralizes acidity of the soil. Okay? Pero feeling ko ang isang biggest benefit of having biochar incorporated into the soil is because of the structure of biochar. It encourages the population, the growth and population of microorganisms in the soil. Kasi if you take a look at biochar, yung isang, let's say, particle ng uling under the microscope, ang itsura po niyan parang butas-butas. Okay? So para siyang ang analogy ko nga dyan, parang coral reef. Kasi sa dagat, ang coral reef, doon tumitira yung mga microorganisms, sa mga maliit na isda, tsaka yung mga batang isda sa dagat. Okay, sa lupa natin, ito yung parang pinaka-coral reef natin, counterpart, kasi yung maliliit na particles ng ng biochar, doon tumitira yung mga microorganisms natin. Doon sila nagbabind. Okay? And since butas-butas, mas lumalaki yung surface area, mas marami yung mas na-encourage yung growth and multiplication of beneficial microorganisms in the soil. Okay. So that's strategy number 6. Siguro one thing that I would like to note also is that most of the things that I've been sharing to you, yes, they're permaculture practices, but they're really focused on keeping the soil healthy by encouraging healthy and increased population of microorganisms, beneficial microorganisms in the soil. Okay, what's next? Strategy number 7, planting perennials. Okay, so paano ba nakakatulong ang perennials in soil health? So let me differentiate lang define what are perennials. Perennials are plants or crops that we plant that live for more than a year or 2. So katulad ng puno, for example, pag tinanim mo siya, kadalasan ilang years siya nabubuhay. Tapos pag tinanim mo siya, pag namunga na siya, so many years din siya mamumunga. In fact, trees live for generations, right? In comparison to annuals, yung mga annuals na plants, ito yung hindi tumatagal ng more than a year. Kaya nga annual eh. So 1 year lang ang nila or less ang lifespan nila. Kasi kadalasan kapag tinanim mo sila, nabuhay sila, lumaki, pag namulaklak, pag namunga, after their peak productivity, namamatay na sila. Diba? Bigas is an annual. Most of our vegetables are annuals. Diba? Kamatis, talong, ampalaya, patola, upo, kalabasa, buong bahay kubo yata ay annual. Okay? So lifespan, that's a key difference. Pero aside from that, we need to understand how they utilize nutrients from the soil. Ang annuals, sobrang takaw po niyan sa nutrients. Kaya kapag let's say for example, isang field, tinamnan mo ng pechay, pag hinarvest mo yung pechay, yung next cropping season, kailangan maglagay ka ng pataba. Kailangan i-amend mo yung soil to return back the nutrients that the pechay absorbed from the plants, from the soil. Kasi ang ang anatomy dyan ng annuals, ang root system ng annuals mababaw. So ibig sabihin, kumukuha lang siya ng nutrients sa topsoil. Kung babalikan natin ang ating earth science, no? Ang masustansyang parte ng lupa ay yung topsoil. Yung subsoil mo hindi gaano, pero yung most of the nutrients nandoon sa topsoil kasi nandoon ang organic matter, most of the organic matter na na-build up over time. So yung topsoil nyo ang dinideplete ng annuals. Okay? On the other hand, you have your perennials na deep-rooted. Ang root structure ng perennials mas malalim, kaya they can get nutrients from deep below the topsoil. So I'm not saying na hindi sila kumukuha ng nutrients from the topsoil. Kumukuha din sila. Pero they can also get nutrients from the topsoil and even lower, deeper. So yung mga nutrients na nandun sa ilalim na hindi available sa mga regular annuals, na-absorb nila. Kaya nga mas matibay sa let's say sa tag-init, hindi pwedeng mag-survive ang summer maski very minimal ang dilig ang mga perennials. So anong benefit nito sa natin, sa soil natin? Well, unang-una, hindi gaano na-deplete ang natin, ang soil natin if we focus on planting perennials. Second, perennials, since they live longer, they get to return back nutrients that they've absorbed back to the soil. Kasi nalalaglag yung mga dahon. Kumbaga, nire-fertilize nila yung soil na ginagamit nila. Lastly, perennials also keep our they keep our, actually hindi pa pala last, meron pa isang benefit. Ang perennial, since deep rooted, nakaka-draw siya ng lupa from the ground to keep the soil moist in times of drought, in times of, let's say, summer season. Lastly, last na talaga. Again, because deep-rooted siya, kaya niyang i-prevent ang soil compaction, hindi na masyadong pitpit yung lupa. Kapag ka dumating yung tubig, kaya niyang pasipsipin yung tubig papunta deep into the ground. Hindi ka nami-minimize yung yung waterlogging, okay? And baha, of course. So, all of those things add up to the health of the soil. So, plant perennials, tanim na maraming puno. Strategy number 8, swales and keyline design for water management. Surprisingly, ang isang destructive element sa ating mga lupa ay tubig. Lalo na kapag malakas ang water runoff, nagbabaha, kasi na-wash off ang nutrients sa ating lupa, napupunta sa ilog, napupunta sa dagat. So hindi lang yung lupa natin ang nasisira, pati yung karagatan natin. Okay? So permaculture strategies such as creating swales, for example, helps us to manage this kind of occurrence. So what are swales? Swales are parang kanal siya or ditches or ang tawag dito, trench na hinuhukay yan along the keyline or along the contour. Kasi like for example, itong image in front of you, sloping siya. So we can dig a canal not to divert the water but to control the water, kumbaga pangsalo ng tubig. So what happens pag nasalo na yung tubig, ang intention is pasisipsipin natin yung tubig papunta sa ilalim ng lupa. Hindi siya, so as a result, yung lupa natin sa below that slope, hindi na-run off, hindi nag-i-erode yung lupa, hindi nagko-cause ang landscape, na maintain yung healthiness yung health ng soil kasi hindi na-i-erode yung topsoil natin. Okay. So that's one permaculture strategy that we do, creating swales. Strategy number 9, so second to the last, chop and drop mulching. So this is another variation of mulching, pero we do this by planting chop and drop crops. So what are chop and drop crops? These are crops or plants that we plant along, let's say, beside our, raised beds, beside our vegetable garden, that's primarily used, yung leaves nila, ginagamit as natural fertilizer, kumbaga pang-mulch at pang-fertilize ng lupa. One example, chop and drop crop that we use is Madre de Cacao, this picture that you see here. If you have been in the farm, mapapansin nyo dito, ang hiling namin mag-propagate na Madre de Cacao. Kasi ang Madre de Cacao, madali tanggalin yung dahon. So pipilasin mo lang siya ganun, tapos ibabagsak mo lang doon sa lupa. Na mamulch na yung lupa, nadadagdagan pa ng nutrients. Kasi nitrogen-rich ang Madre de Cacao. It's nitrogen fixing. Okay. So that's chop and drop. Kaya chop and drop kasi you chop, then you drop. Literally. Okay, so that's one permaculture strategy that we use to maintain soil health. And lastly, livestock integration. Ang purpose po ng manok dito sa farm ay hindi lang pang tinola at hindi lang pang itlog. Okay? May additional purpose pa po ang livestock, like ang manok namin. Kasi syempre, if you have like livestock that's free ranging around the farm, like our ducks and our chickens, ang isang yield that we get from these animals are their poop. What comes out from their behind. Kasi alam naman natin na yung poop ng ng livestock natin, these are rich organic fertilizers. So they naturally, kumbaga na dideposit sa lupa, keeps the soil healthy. In addition to that, ang natin, ang mga manok, more importantly, di ba, manok hiling magkahig. So pag nagkakahig yan, in a way na nakukultivate nila yung lupa, prevents further compaction of the soil. Hindi siya masyado napipitpit. Palaging loose because of these chickens that we have. Okay? So those are the 10 permaculture strategies that we use for sustainable soil health. So if you have any questions about these strategies, feel free to drop them into the Q&A bar at the side. Okay. So I've been talking about permaculture. If you want to know more and learn more about permaculture, marami namang ibang sources eh. Free online resources. You can purchase books. Lots of videos in YouTube. You can visit permaculture farms. You're very welcome to visit Habilin Farms to know more about soil health management, and permaculture in general. We do free tours every Friday mornings. Lastly, if you want a more structured education in permaculture, meron tinatawag na permaculture design course that's normally stay in yan, mga 1 to 2 weeks, na you intensive learning about permaculture design. However, if you want something that's more accessible, I've created a program which I'll be launching soon. Okay. But the actual program starts January, but we'll be launching and accepting pre-registrations early before end of the year. So we call this program Permaculture Pathways. It's a 14-week program designed to educate aspiring farmers, aspiring people who want to live a sustainable life using permaculture. Okay? And reason why I said na it's more accessible kasi the first 12 weeks is composed of a 12-week online learning, live sessions, 24 online sessions for the whole duration of 12 weeks. Then there's a 1 week rest because you need to work on your project, and it ends on the 14th week, which will be a 3-day farm immersion here in Habilin Farms. So it's not yet open. If you have any questions, just post it in the Q&A section. But we've shared the link how you can join the wait list. Okay, so the wait list, bakit may wait list? Kasi marami na po nag-i-inquire. But we don't wanna open the gate yet. Pero for the wait list, for the people who will be joining the wait list, we'll be giving you early access before we open it up to the public. Plus, people who are part of the wait list can benefit from a huge discount that will be offering also. So yun lang, kayo lang makakuha if you join the wait list. So just click on that link. There's a button on the right side that says add me to the wait list. Just click on that and you'll get the early announcement. Sige, we'll announce next week when it's opening. Okay? And make sure that you watch an email from us, because once you join the wait list, you'll instantly receive the email announcement. All right, so we finished early. Let me see, are there any questions? Ballpark estimate how much the program is. So thank you for your question. Rench Zeus Romero Ramos, habang pangalan, no? And how do I call you? Rench ba or Zeus? Anyway, so for the price, kaya po hindi pa namin nilalaunch kasi hindi pa kami sure how much exactly. That's one of the reasons. Pero one thing is for sure, it's going to be relatively a lot cheaper than a regular PDC. Okay. But not only that, we want to make sure that you get more value by paying less. Okay? Kasi, syempre, having it partly online allows us to share more information, share more learning. Pero we made it blended para hindi mawala yung yung interactive element of the learning. Para you get to experience it firsthand also once you visit our permaculture site here in Abilin Farms. Sige, we'll announce really soon, pero what I can guarantee, it's affordable, cheaper than what is currently available. All right, are there any more questions? So if wala nang further questions, once we leave the webinar, you can still actually leave a message and leave a question. Just drop a message there. We'll announce an online streaming session as a follow-up to answer people's questions. We'll announce it on Facebook later on. All right, so yun lang. Thank you guys so much for attending. For those who stayed, thank you again. And it's been a great Thursday afternoon. I'll see you in the waitlist. I'll see you in the next webinar. Thank you so much. All right, goodbye.